Welcome back to the podcast. If you're a veteran, you might want to listen to this. It'll probably make you mad. It'll probably get you inspired. But if you're under 5 years in the business and you want to know what 4 extraordinary new agents have done to stand out, to crush the competition, and to absolutely cement their place in their marketplace as successful agents, you're going to love this breakout session from the Success Summit where I had Phil Gerdes, Mark Keller, Allie Vasquez, and Patrick Ferry. Yes, my little brother, no competition there or no pressure there with that last name. But these 4 people shared some extraordinary insights, some tactics, some hacks, some things that they're doing to absolutely crush it. So whether you're a veteran or a brand new agent, buckle up, listen up, take some notes, and decide how you're going to grow your business and take it to the next level. Enjoy this little bonus podcast. How many of you in this room are less than 5 years in real estate? Raise your hands really high, say aye. Okay, you have 4 extraordinary people. I have just a few questions for them, and if time permits, we'll do a little audience Q&A. Get ready. We're going to start with Phil. We're going to go right down. Can you guys hear me okay? Because it's really weird up here. We're just going to go right down, tell them who you are, where you're from, tell them how long you've been in the business, and how many transactions you're on pace to do this year. You guys got it? We'll go Phil first, just give you guys context. Go.
Phil Gerdes from Annapolis, Maryland. Been in the business for a year and a half, and we're on pace to close somewhere around 75 transactions this year.
Okay, so second year in the business, 75 deals. Give him a big round of applause. Boom. Phil sat at the summit last year, like right over here, right? And just got it. Okay, go ahead.
Mark Keller from Niceville, Florida. Going on my 5th year in the business, and I'm set to close about 120 transactions.
So 5th year, 120 transactions. Welcome to the new norm, everybody. Allie?
Hi, I'm Allie Vasquez. I'm from Frederick, Maryland. This is my 4th year in the business, and I'm on track to close 48.
48 transactions. Give her a nice round of applause. And this is a little personal for me because I've known him in his entire life. Patrick Ferry in the house. Tell him, buddy.
So I'm Patrick Ferry, and I'm in San Diego. I live in Carlsbad, and I got my license about 3.5 years ago, and I also am a part-time coach. I coach 30 clients, and this year I will sell 18, and I hope I can push to 19 or 20 sales. So I'm on pretty good pace right now. I'm pretty excited about it.
All right, give them all a nice round of applause. Okay, there's 2 questions that I get the most when people say, what is it about, starting new, whether I was 2 months in, 3 years in, or brand new in real estate? And those questions are always the same. You ready? What are the most important lead sources I should go after, right? I'm newer. How do I get my business going fast? That's the first question I'm going to ask every one of them, right? And then I'm going to go through and ask them to tell you, reflecting back on their illustrious career of a year or 2 or 4, what were the 2 or 3 most important things that they did? So the intent is you're going to get 8 to 12 very tactical things that they're doing that you can go deep on. So we're going to start right with Phil. Phil, top leads. So we're just going to go right down that way, and maybe I'll mix it up. Top lead sources today. What do you recommend?
Top lead source for me is withdrawn and expireds.
Withdrawn and expireds. So Phil, go a little deeper. Help them understand from a tactical standpoint, what do you do? What did you have to overcome? Are there any tools that you use? Give us the process. Go deep and tactical with them.
So with withdrawns and expireds, the reason I started with that and I said that's going to be my primary lead source is because I was never a realtor before. So I figured I might know a lot about business, but I know nothing about being a real estate agent. So I let other realtors educate people for me because they knew more than me. And I already knew people.
Oh.
Yeah, I like that.
That's smart.
Cool.
Sorry, Phil.
No, that's all right. Do that. But I let other people educate for me, and then I knew that I knew people were ready to sell because they already tried once. So all I had to do was come in and sell those people on my system. And once I did that, we ended up selling their house for them.
Well, what the hell was your system? You were brand new in real estate.
Yeah. So for me, it was about creating a story, right? Because I'd been watching you before I was a realtor. So I was like, oh, I know what Tom's going to tell me to do. So I started doing that stuff, create a story, do the best marketing, find the best marketing for that house, right? So not necessarily the best marketing like in general. And then just find the right buyer for those people. And then as we kept doing it over and over again, what I found was that my days on market started getting less and less and less, and we started selling for more and more and more. And then you said something in August, I don't remember how you put it, but it was about having like almost a slogan, I forget what you called it. But for me it was, we sell 3 times faster for more money, because the average days on market was 52 and ours was 16. So, and then the average sale was like 97.49 and mine was 98.7. So everywhere I went, I'm like, look, we sell 3 times faster and yet for more money. So give us a go.
Do you guys hear that? Do you guys got that? Give him a nice round of applause. Dude, this guy's in Maryland. He's a baller. Baller. Okay, so let's go to Mark. Best lead source.
Zillow and past clients.
Okay, start with Zillow, because let's say no one in the room has, or we'll go Zillow / any online lead. But for you specifically, it was Zillow.
Zillow. Once I was able to save up enough money to spend money on Zillow.
Key distinction.
What I had was some reviews, and those reviews ended up being critical for me. Right now, I'm up to 126 reviews on Zillow, and over the past 2 years, I've had 19 come list me or sell me a house calls. That is huge, and that's above and beyond the spend I'm spending with them. On average, I'm spending right now about $4,500 a month. I've got a lender partner with that.
Yep.
That's another thing. If you're new, get with your lenders. They'd be more than willing and happy to contribute to that. The other thing I found with the Zillow for me was when they called, had that initial conversation, and just go show them the house.
Okay, let's role play it, and I may come back to you on Inspired. So I'm calling you, ring, ring, ring. Hello?
Hello, this is Mark.
Hey, Mark. Yeah, I'm just calling. The Zillow people passed me over to you. They said you could show me the house on 1234 Banana Street.
Yes, sir. When are you available to see the home?
We could see it as fast as early this evening or Saturday morning.
Let's go this evening. Would 6 o'clock work?
Let me check with my wife. I mean, it could work. I mean, is the house going to be ready to go?
Well, the house has only been on the market 2 days, and I think they've already had 3 or 4 showings today. So I think it's probably critical that we get in there as quick as we can.
Urgency, urgency, urgency. That's all you needed. You guys got that? That house just came on the market. They've already had 3 or 4 showings. You need to get on this shit now. Okay? Killer. Allie.
Hi. So my top 3 lead sources would be my sphere of influence. Because, at first I didn't want to tap into them.
Allie,
Sure.
back up and tell them, what did you do before so they get context when she says sphere?
Right. So I was a high school Spanish and Chinese teacher for 10 years.
Nice.
So now my high schoolers are becoming adults and buying houses. And who better than Senora Vasquez to help them buy a house, right? You all want your high school Spanish teacher to sell you a house? Duh. So I didn't want to tap into my sphere of influence because when I first started, I was a little timid and it seemed like they were going with other realtors, but now I've just dug in deep and I'm like, okay, you guys know my particular brand of crazy and you've stuck around, so let's just do a business transaction together. Also, my other is, I have a farm. My farm is very complicated. In my farm, there are 22 different languages spoken. I speak Spanish, English, Chinese, so I like to think I do the big 3, but almost all of my marketing is 50-50 Spanish, English, and that's also the split on my clientele, 50% Spanish speaking only, 50% English speaking, or other languages really, because I got a lot. Yeah. And then this is something I've never heard, Tom talk about ever, but I have what I call my big fish. So because I'm a teacher, I can go into places and I do care about people, contrary to popular belief. But I go in and I say, hey, I went to the day after I got my license, I went down to the housing authority, and in my town, you can purchase a home if you're a Section 8 recipient, and now I'm the preferred Section 8 realtor. I go to community festivals, specifically Hispanic festivals, and I do a lot of church seminars because that's where I find that I get a lot of, and then, see, all you have to do is talk to the pastor. You don't even necessarily have to sometimes they say, like, listen, we don't want the seminar, but you planted the seed, they're going to invite you back, and they know that you care. So that's kind of how I've gotten my footing.
She just gave you guys a lot of things to think about. Section 8 housing, right? Understanding that your sphere maybe in the beginning not going to be ready for you, but you just got to be a bulldog. And I love the church thing. We talked about seminars in that 33, so it's beautiful. Okay, Patrick, best lead source.
So best lead source right now is open house. And a little bit of backstory on this. So when I got into the business, Tom was like, you got to do open houses. My business.
No pressure. My little brother's selling real estate.
So, my father-in-law, my wife and father-in-law are my business partners, and my father-in-law, he built his business on open houses. So I'm like, okay, I gotta do open houses. So I do open houses literally for 2 years, almost 3 a month, no kidding, and I only sold 1 home. And I was like, I totally am screwing this up. What is the deal, right? And so something happened to me, and I'm actually doing an open house for another agent, a vacant property in my neighborhood that was dragging a little bit on the market. So I called the agent and said, hey, I live in the neighborhood. Let me, do the open house. It's been booked every weekend. So I said, I don't care. I'll do it during the week, right? So I did a couple during the week because I got an opportunity to meet a bunch of neighbors, and that was great, especially in my farm. And then I did the open house 3 or 4 times, and then she refreshed the listing. They painted it, they staged it, and I was like, hey, give me the Sunday. I got the Sunday, and then all of a sudden, I had 30 people come through the open house. What I noticed, though, this was the game changer, was I had my hyper-local content down. Hey, welcome to the open house, Tom. Hey, let me just tell you a little bit about the backstory of this property. Let me tell you quickly about the neighborhood. Here's the things that you need to know. Have you seen that property? Do you know about this one? And then, hey, by the way, when you come into the house, here's the things that I want you to notice. Here's a couple of the deal breakers that I've noticed. Here's some of the stuff that I think is the best in this house. And then it was weird. I just gave the presentation, right? Because I've done the open house 6 times. And then all of a sudden, people were just coming back to me and just started zeroing in on me and asking me more questions. And I was like, whoa, this is pretty awesome. So I sold 2 houses from that open house for $2 million in volume. And I was like, what the heck happened? I spent 2 years, did nothing, right? I'm trying to follow the script, get everybody to sign in, do all this stuff. And then all of a sudden it shifted. I was saying things that people didn't know. They couldn't read it on the MLS, and I was engaging them in that content, that information. Then I was having a good time going, hey, you know what? That carpet's a little funky. Don't worry. I got a guy, right? Hey, the paint, that costs about. Hey, those windows, this is how much that cost. So all of a sudden I started really sharing a lot of the kind of real estate knowledge. And then the last thing I noticed was I was able to talk about the comps in the area and have good conversation around that. And literally, since I've been doing those 3 things in a presentation when people walk in the door, I've literally sold 8 homes in the last 1 year from open houses. It's been off the chart.
Great work. Great work, all of you. Okay, so I'm going to go deeper. So I asked all of you to really think about 2 to 3 things tactically you did that work that you can transfer to the the men and women inside this room. So whoever wants to go first, and if you want to go one at a time, I'm going to just push it to you guys and say, fight for it. Who wants to share first? Go.
So when it comes to withdrawals and expireds, I was explaining this in the back, I looked at it like baseball. So in baseball, if you want to make $1 million or more, a lot of people think that you have to bat 300. I look at it the opposite way. You have to learn to strike out 7 out of 10 times. So I walked into this and I said, let me figure out how many phone calls I need to make in order to get X amount of people to tell me no, because I'm guaranteed someone to tell me yes. And then I did the exact same thing, the same formula with how many houses do I need to get into in order to get X amount of people to tell me no, because I'm guaranteed someone to tell me yes. So now I know that I can put in my dialer 10 people, and as long as I have 2 conversations, I'll get 1 appointment, and 8 out of 10 appointments I will list. So it's like math to me. So I don't have to sit down and wonder, oh my goodness, what's gonna happen? I just plug in the 10 people and then make the calls. And one thing I found out with my coach is that even though those numbers are really awesome, there's like 100 other steps that I'm missing that I'm now going to be adding in to what I'm doing with my withdrawals and expireds. I mean, it's just going to go to an absolute different level. But I think that's really it. And then that leads to my second thing, which we chatted about, which is...
Okay, hold on first. You guys want to hear him role play?
Yes.
All right, so Patrick, you're the expired.
Perfect.
Ring.
Hello.
Hey, is this Patrick?
Yeah.
Patrick, this is Phil with Long & Foster Real Estate. How are you today?
Man, I've had a lot of calls from real estate agents. I'll just save it. We're gonna just take a break for a little while.
Yeah, that's actually why I was calling, and I was about to say, you have probably been getting knocked over your head with phone calls. And I bet the first thing you've been thinking is, where the hell were all these people when my house was actually on the market?
I've asked that question numerous times. So where were you when my home was for sale? And if you have a buyer, you can for sure bring them over, but I'm not listing my property.
All right, awesome. Well, Patrick, listen, I understand why you're upset, and I totally get it, because you walked into this thinking that you had a perfect agent and they were gonna do everything you needed to do, and then they were gonna sell your house, right?
Of course.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll tell you what, I actually showed your house. So I have a huge buyer pool. That particular buyer wasn't interested. And I really want to get in there and just learn a little bit more about your house before I bring the rest of my buyers in and then market it to other people, because I don't want to market the wrong information. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm open on Friday. What time? My entire schedule is open for you. What time Friday can I come by, sit down? You can tell me the best parts of your house. You can, and really think about this, tell me why your house didn't sell. And then from there, we'll sit down and talk about whether or not I'm just gonna bring my buyers by, or you're gonna let me show you what we do to market houses and how we sell them.
Friday is not a good day.
All right, great. What day is a good day for you? We can go to Saturday, or we can go into next week on Tuesday.
I gotta talk to my wife first. I can't make a decision without her.
Perfect. And like I said, my Friday's wide open, but Patrick, the truth is the rest of the days are really booked. So let's go tentative 10 a.m. on Saturday. If something changes, I'll have my assistant call you on Friday to confirm. But if something changes, we'll just switch the date. Does that sound good?
That's fair. Can you send me some information? I just need to find out a little bit more about who you are before I let you in my house.
Absolutely. I'm actually going to send you my Zillow reviews, and I'm also going to send you my pre-listing guide. So not only are you going to learn about me, but you're going to learn about my entire marketing plan. So here's what I suggest you do, and I'm going to let you go because I know you got 10 other realtors about to call you. So here's what I'm going to let you do. When I send you my listing guide, go through it and come up with 3 to 5 questions that you and your wife want to know. Hey, Phil, how do you do this, and how has it worked so well for you? And then we'll go through that and talk.
Sounds good.
Awesome. See you Saturday at 10.
Nice.
Damn.
Nice work.
Hey guys, that's a year and a half in the business. You think he's maybe practiced that a few times? What do you guys think? And you hear he was just ripping on all that stuff. And notice he also stood up when he started presenting. Interesting. Okay, Martin, let's go next.
All right, so for me, the Zillow reviews, I think that was a big thing. One thing I did, I created a form that I give to all of my buyers that they sign as we are presenting a contract to the sellers.
Okay, Mark, say this again. Do you guys hear what he just said? We all freaked in the back of the room. Mark, tell him again.
Basically, I created a form that I give to all my buyers when we're getting ready to present an offer. They agree to fill out a Zillow review for me prior to or within 30 days of closing. So I give it to them as they're signing the contract. It's just another paper to be signed off on. Same thing with my sellers. I give it to them when I'm taking the listing, that they agree to fill out a Zillow review for me prior to or 30 days within closing. And again, it's just part of the package. They sign it, no big deal. I've never had to pull it out and hold them to it. Every time I've sent them a review, they've just filled it out.
So there's no one that ever says, well, wait a minute, we're not sure, we're not working with you yet, and we don't know.
No, and a part of that comes with the service. My background was from the boating industry. We were the #1 yacht sales company in the world at one time, and exceeding the expectations of my clients, that's number one. They've got no reason not to fill out that review.
Yeah, congratulations, that's a killer one. First of all, is that good, guys? That's like ridiculous. That is a ridiculous, and if you're in Canada, you just say realtor.ca, or you say in Europe, Google, right? Google review. You just replace it with the appropriate review, but setting the tone right up front is awesome. Allie, give us one of the two, or Patrick, you raised your hand, but I'm a ladies first guy, so.
Gotta stand up. Okay.
Oh, here she goes.
So number one is video marketing. Last year I was here at Summit and, I said, okay, Tom says do video. So, I was doing video and I felt like I was kind of going through the motions. So in February, I did like a little series like, prepping your house for the spring market. And I noticed that other realtors in my market were filming videos and I was like, oh God, their sucks. Like it's artificial, I'm not really feeling it. And then I looked at my stuff and I was like, oh, my sucks. Like, and so I did what was natural to me. And so on Valentine's Day, I told my husband, please take the kids and I'm going in the bathtub and I'm filming a video. And he was like, and I was like, ew, no, you're gross. I am actually filming a video for my business page. And I filmed this, which is something that kind of put me on the map, I would say.
Show them the video.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Good evening, all. It's Valentine's Day, a very romantic day, and I honestly couldn't think of anything more romantic than sitting in a bathtub talking about real estate. Really gets my juices flowing. I don't know about you, but let's talk about some of the things that I said I was going to cover in my sellers videos. The problem is I haven't been producing them because I've been selling too many houses. I'm sorry. My bad. But I won't stop. And now I'm going to tell you, hold on one moment.
You guys got the idea? Give her a big round of applause.
So after that, I started doing things that were more genuine to me. So I have a series with my lender called Thirsty Thursday, and we have a drinking game. Every time you hear the word credit, take a sip. Burping, beer, that's all in my personal wheelhouse. I do a lot of different things and with video, and I really think, obviously I get a lot of comments. That video had like 3,000 views. So yeah, for me, video has been really the way for people to recognize you and to kind of get yourself out there.
What did your mother say about
Nothing,
that video?
Nothing, and I know she's watching right now. Mom, where's the comments? For real though, where the comments at? I also, my big thing is integrated marketing. So
talk about that.
Yeah, so I have a farm. On my farm, I said English, Spanish. The first thing that I did after Summit last year was I hired Allison. Allison is my former student, past client, and now she's my operations manager. And I love her. She does all my graphic design. She does all of my video. She didn't edit that video. That was a solo mission. But yeah, she does all of my video. And
wait, were you really naked in the bathtub?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so integrated marketing has been huge. And I follow what Kyle Whistle did. I have I told you, Spanish speakers is my thing. So I have a neighborhood page. On my neighborhood page, it's only Spanish. Why? To me, that is a marginalized group. They need a place to go. They need a safe spot, especially now. And that's where I get 3 appointments a week, just being me on that page.
Wow. That's beautiful. Give her a big round of applause. Love it. Patrick.
I think one of the most exciting things that I've done more recently, and being Tom Ferry's brother, he's doing all this social media, and I'm like, I am such a rookie, novice at social media, and it's driving me crazy. So I'm like, how do I get this thing figured out? I'm super analytical, so I'm just trying to what do I do? He's posting 1,000 things. He's saying you're supposed to post once a day, and I'm like trying to push my clients, you got to post once a day, but I wasn't. And so what happened though is I just heard one really simple bit of advice that's really changed my social media, just my personal profile, was I figured out all I need to do is figure out 4 topics that I'm passionate about that represent who I am, and that's it. And so if you go to my, obviously you'll see my kids, super passionate about them. Then you'll see, I've been doing stuff with my dog. I have a Hungarian Vizsla, which is a lot of fun. And then, I have soccer, and then I have real estate. And it's very easy now is because I have a nice variety. People get to sense of who I am. And then, then now I get way more engagement, more than I've ever had. And it's just, all it is just me being me, but I have my topics, and those are my go-to. Now, don't get me wrong. Social media to me, it's every post is 100%. It's about building my business. It's about building my brand. Not one post is ever random or just an accident. So for example, today, right, don't miss any more opportunities. So when Tiffany Bova was on stage, what do you think I did? I'm like, okay, I've got one of the top experts in the world in called Salesforce up on stage. How do I leverage that to improve my brand, not only to my agent friends, but also all of my sphere in San Diego, who they don't know me from Adam, right? And I'm not even from San Diego, so I'm trying to build a reputation as a guy in San Diego. So I grab a couple shots of Tiffany Bova, and then I'm gonna write some things about, hey, learning some amazing stuff from a top expert in Salesforce on how to delight more customers. Right, that was a perfect moment. I already posted it, and so that stuff is really starting to make a difference because my sphere that I'm meeting now in San Diego, they're starting to go, whoa, like, dude, you're, like, hey, how's the market? What are you doing? And so I'm starting to get a lot more referrals now because my engagement is way up, but I'm also really focused on building kind of the Patrick Ferry real estate agent brand in a really interesting way. And then again, one more thing on the social media. No more open house, 1 to 4, come by and see me, right? We've all done it and it gets no engagement. So I was cracking up the other day. I'm going into an open house. It's hot as heck, right? I'm going into Vista, which is a really hot area of North County. The house has no AC, right? And it's Sunday. I'm like, oh man, like I am not excited about this. And I'm like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? So I get to the house, I'm sweating, I put out a bunch of signs, and I'm like, oh gosh, what am I gonna do? So I'm like, I gotta just go out there and take a picture. And I did this super funny face with my sign in the background. And I'm like, no one can, judge my commitment to sell this home. It's 90 degrees in Vista San Marcos, right? And I am sweating. This house has no AC. And it just blew up because it was funny, it was real. Now I had the sign in the background, but I wasn't like, hey, open house in Vista, 1 to 4, come visit me. Right? And so that's like 1 out of maybe 5 posts, and it goes bananas. And now I'm having a lot more fun with social, whereas before I had a ton of anxiety and I was feeling super guilty, like I'm not posting enough. So pick your main topics and then just start having more fun with those. That's what would be my recommendation. And it's really starting to build my brand as a real estate agent in San Diego, and that's what I need.
Love it. Give them all. This is really good, guys. This is really good. Okay. I got 4 minutes, so you got 1 minute each. I either want the next best point, Phil, next best point, Mark, or I want the biggest mistake they need to avoid. The you did that you're like, oh, you with me? Because we learn times, more from our mistakes, right? So whoever wants to go first, Allie, Mark, whoever.
So I made a ton of mistakes in the beginning, right? I've lost way more business than I've ever closed. So if you're a new agent and you're like, hey, I lost a deal, I got fired by a client. I've got fired by numerous clients, right? And I'm a coach, I've been in the industry for 15 years, but I've only been selling for 3.5. But listen, I just want you to know that that's okay. But the one mistake, please do not make that I made, which is once I got in the business, I was like, I'm gonna try some of this, I'm gonna try some of that, I'm gonna try some of this, I'm gonna try some of that, I'm gonna try some of this. Oh my God, this is really cool, I'm gonna do some of that. And no, I need to learn all of that, and I need to learn all of this. And literally, I did nothing, and my coach was like, get your ass on the phone and drop everything. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I haven't sold anything in 6 months. This is disaster. So.
Can anybody relate to that, by the way? I gotta try this, I gotta try that, I gotta get ready, I gotta start. So that was perfect.
Yes, please. Once I narrowed it down and kept it simple and just focused on those 2 or 3 things, and that's it, that's when my production started going up. So avoid the distractions.
Yeah. Whoever wants to go next. Biggest mistake or another killer point?
I agree with Patrick 100%. The biggest thing for me was shiny penny syndrome. The next new lead source, the next thing, I got to try this, I got to try that, instead of just focusing on my database and picking up the phone and making those calls.
100%. And when did you start with Zillow? How long ago?
It's been about 2.5 years.
So you started pretty early in this.
Yeah, well, I ended up getting in a partner referral program where I wasn't spending the money. I was just kicking about 50% back to the other guy who was spending the money. So to me, that was my entryway. But as soon as I saw how easy those leads were coming in, I got rid of him as quick as I could.
That was good. Allie, Phil, biggest mistake or a point you want to share?
A little bit of a blend. Even though I know my numbers with withdrawals and expireds, I only probably do 70 to 85% as much as I could, even though I'm 100% aware of what my numbers are. So my tip would be to hustle in every way. I have been a business owner since I was 17 years old. So when I'm out here working, I'm not working because I'm just bored. I'm working because I have 2 kids and a wife that really want to eat tomorrow. So the example I'll give, and I'll do this real quick. If you have a hand, put it like this in the air. Everyone just work with me. Awesome, now put it down. Now I'm gonna ask you a question, just do it. Everyone here, raise your hand as high as you can and hold it there, as high as you can. Okay, right from there, just go, don't do more, just keep it up, but go 2 inches higher, but don't do any more than 2. All right, so if you just moved your hand up, you're my 20 to 25%. Because the first thing I said was raise your hand as high as you can. So I'll just show you, can I show something? This would have been the answer. You see? That's hustle. All the time, 110,000% all the time, because you want your wife and kids to eat. So that's it.
Sorry, man, that was just hitting people like, and I was even like going,
yeah,
because I knew where you were going.
Yeah, I saw.
Hustle's a factor, right or wrong, guys. Okay, you already know what I'm gonna ask you. Say, turn to your buddy and say, this is my business. Hey, I didn't see your hand. This is my business. Thank you very much. Don't think I'm not watching. All right.
Yeah, I would definitely say you have to be yourself. If getting naked in a bathtub is not yourself, then you do you. But I mean, so I come from a family of all teachers. When I said...
Hold on, Allie. Could you imagine if right now we had like 7,000 agents suddenly do the naked bathroom?
Do it. Yeah. But no, I came from a family of all teachers. When I quit and I said, I got 2 months because I'm on summer pay, all I had was me. And so, you know, my dad was a teacher and my dad said, no one cares how much you know until they know how much you care. And so I put myself out there. Tom, you saw my brand video. I definitely make sure that people know that I am there for them. I don't know if you've been paying attention, but Hispanic people have been getting shit on a lot recently, and I'm over it. And so it is 100% my commitment to be there. Oye! Viva la raza! But...
Look at you even started swaying.
Yeah, but splish, splash, though. Put despacito, come on. But my thing is that, you know, you have to, you know, in my market, there's a lot of what I call Barbaras and Dougs, right? Barbara has, you know, a perm and shoulder pads, and she gets all the business because she's been around forever, but she's not doing it anymore. Like, she's not doing the business. Doug's got tassel loafers and they mansplain everything to you. Like, that's not my bag. I got blue hair, I got tattoos, and I'm batshit nuts. But I'm also Allie Vasquez, la mujer de las casas, and I'm a bad Thank you.
Okay. We only have 2 minutes. I got time for one question. Who's got a question? We only got 2 minutes. Who's got a question? Okay, I'm coming right to you. I'm going right here. Sorry, it's the only one. I got to do one question. Okay, Virginia, hold on. Yeah.
Okay, hi. So I'm a new agent, 4 months, and I'm doing pretty good. I've taken 12 listings, but when I lose a listing...
Wow.
Yeah, you should be up here.
Wow. Get it, girl.
So when I have lost a listing, I usually will ask, why did you choose another agent? And I always hear the same thing. Basically, we interviewed 6, it was between you and another, and you just didn't we didn't see a lot of experience, because I don't have any Zillow reviews or no sales yet. And so how do you overcome, what's the objection?
Yeah, so objection handling, Phil, go.
Connection, right? So if you saw when we were doing that role playing, when I asked him a question, I was always doing this. You saw that, right? Yeah, right. So now you're even doing it. So my goal from the moment I get on the phone is to connect. For example, I said hell, but it was only because I realized he was mad. So if I was happy, I would have irritated him. So I just got mad with him, right? So connect. I've gotten listings where I know the other agents. I personally know them. And the flat out truth is they're better than me. And I still got the listing because when I left there, those people felt like I just was part of them. You know, we're family now. So connect.
Who else has got a point? What else would you guys say to her?
I would say that, you know, I brought up, when I first, you know, a lot of people, I told you, my sphere of influence, they were like, Allie, you're still a new realtor. We know exactly the day you got your license because you posted on social media. I would just bring up Tom's name. I'd be like, did you know that I'm connected to a gigantic, you know, like we're learning these things that like agents in our market, they never even dreamed of. Like I would bring up that like, I got all this stuff, like I would take out my notebook and be like, look, this is all that's going on. And like, you know, you can do your business with Barbara and Doug, but this is cutting edge.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so you got a couple tips there? All right, can we give this panel an extraordinary round of applause?
Woo! Yeah, boys.
Well, there you have it. Thanks so much for listening to us again, live from the 2018 Summit. It's about getting connected. You know what it is? I think shows like this and people like you and I, we just don't want to reinvent the wheel. We are big fans of R&D. No, we're not talking about research and development. We're talking about ripping off and duplicating. And certainly in this segment, you've got a ton of ideas that you can go back and essentially cut their head off, change the phone number, hit print, and go. R&D, my friend. R&D, because that's what the best do in this business, always. Thanks so much for listening. Talk to you on the next podcast. If you want more information about this episode, including my show notes, mentions, links, and everything else, make sure you visit tomferry.com/podcast. That's tomferry.com/podcast. Thanks again, and talk to you soon.